So, welcome to our short introduction of Lisk Crowd. Crowdfunding is a very useful tool, but it does not always go well. So remember the period of ICOs within the blockchain industry. Sometimes people just raise money, but they don't even try to deliver a product. So how can you create a decentralized crowdfunding platform with built-in incentives to actually realize what you promise? And provide a little bit more protection for the investors too. That's what we did. We created a blockchain application that provides some standards for a crowdfund on a protocol level. In short, Lisk Crowd is a crowdfund platform where investors have more control over their donation, and if they don't believe in the project anymore, if more than 50% of the investors decide they don't believe anymore, the funding of the project stops and people are reimbursed with the leftovers. Be aware that this is a proof of concept and not an end solution yet. We'll dive into more details now. So, who are we? Moosty is a blockchain development studio working on a diverse set of solutions. So some of our projects are Lisk Ticketing, which provides a full ticketing solution, just a proof of concept currently. Lisk Scan, which is an agnostic blockchain explorer. Calipo, which is a DAO platform. And we are also running Lisk Center Utrecht and online meetups. So follow us on Twitter to stay on top of our projects. Currently, as an entrepreneur or early stage startup, you want to use a crowdfunding mechanism to realize your dream or product. After donating, the investors no longer have control over their donation. And this does not always go well. A product may fail or a team effort may fail, but people can also just don't give a crap or simply walk away with your money. And although the money is a donation, it should be expected that effort will be made to make the project a success. So how can we ensure the crowdfund mechanism can be used in a more sustainable way? Especially if you would like to raise donations with a decentralized solution, it is necessary to add some checks and balances. What we did is to provide an incentive to better estimate costs, spread them over time, and also incentivize to inform your investors. So this new setup might influence the future of crowdfunding. It may give entrepreneurs an incentive to make better estimations of the costs and to plot them over time in order to get access to funding. It also asks for regular feedback to the investors or donators to keep on receiving the money. And it also asks to share information about the advances of the project. So it can also be a choice that you are making or a change to a roadmap. But why are you doing that? And it may demand a transparent standard for salaries and other investments. So there are also some negative side effects. In this case, you might be under pressure that investors can retract your salary every month, which will not be beneficial to your mental health. So also imagine that a donor funds 100% of a crowdfund. He or she can exercise influence over the team in a way that was not intended for crowdfunds. So these side effects should, of course, be counteracted by, for example, providing a larger horizon or a cap on investments or limiting the voting power of an individual. So let's look at the demo.
I will now create a new crowdfund. So we press the start a crowdfund button. We can create a name. I will call it the Lisk Poker. The description is Lisk Poker is a very cool game. Select a category. In this case it's gambling. We give it a project URL. And then we have to define the finance part. So our target amount is 200 Lisk and the project will take us 10 months. And the crowdfund will start today. And we can add an image. In this case, it's hamburgers. We create the crowdfund, confirm the transaction, and the crowdfund is successfully added to the homepage here. As we can see here, there are already some people investing right now in this project. We can see we have raised 10 Lisk, 50 Lisk already, 105 Lisk almost done. So now if I go to my projects, I will see that I have one running project still, the Lisk project 2021. I raised 0 Lisk, but under my project I also have the Lisk Poker project, which we just created and which is fully funded. So now we can register the start date, we can choose when it will start. Today we register, confirm transaction, and it's successfully. So now the project started and the duration is 10 months. So now every month the investors will be able to vote. From an investor's perspective, we can see here an overview of all the investments. At the right we can see there are several investments in Lisk Poker where the voting will start in a few seconds. So it means we are at the end of a period and we can decide if we want to move on with the project. So now we are able to vote, so we click vote, we can say yes or no. Here we will vote yes, confirm transaction, we wait confirmation, and it's successful. So when the majority of the investors voted no, they will be able to get their funds back. They will need to click the refund button, claim the refund, confirm transaction, and it's done. This was the short demo of the Lisk Crowd application.
The crowdfund application has been developed with React.js for the front end and the Lisk SDK for the back end. Out of the box you will get 4 modules, and we developed one custom module, the crowd module, which you can see here. Then we give the name and ID, some transaction assets to create a crowdfund, to provide funds to a crowdfund, to start the project. That's the owner has to start the project when the crowdfund has been filled with enough money. A vote transaction, a claim transaction. So every month you can claim your funds, and a refund transaction for when the event or when the crowdfund has been cancelled. What is the account schema? We would like to store which funds you own, which crowdfunds you have open, and which crowdfunds you have funded, invested in. So those are the keys that we add to the module, to the account. And then we only have one action, get all crowdfunds, and the get all crowdfunds action provides the data for the front end. So normally you could use Lisk services for that, but in this case we use an action. Then we also have the sprinkler module. That's interesting to look at. So the data in the front end, I think it consists of 3 different types of data. We get some from the Lisk SDK itself about accounts. We get some from the action get all crowdfunds, and then we look at the crowdfund data. We also get some information from our sprinkler module. So let's take a look. Why did we develop a sprinkler module? It's very useful for a proof of concept. So it is on npm, so you can just import it and add it to your application here. You have to do it before the token module. I will not get into the details right now. So let's take a look at the sprinkler module. So the sprinkler, what does it do? It provides the possibility, it actually provides a faucet for your proof of concept. It gives the opportunity to create a username and to give your accounts or people's accounts some tokens. And if we take a look at the transaction here, then we can see it checks if the sender account already has a username, otherwise it sets a username, and it also checks if the sender balance is below a certain amount, and then it will add some balance to the account. So here we also use the reducer of the token module. So we invoke the reducer of the token module to get the balance. So the sprinkler module, it's pretty easy to install and to use it for proof of concepts, and we added it to all our proof of concepts just to make sure that everybody can play around with and has enough tokens to play around with. That's it.